Hey, everybody, welcome into a special edition of Domesticated Gamblers, your new home for St. Louis sports gambling talk. It is our Sports Sub STL bracket breakdown presented by Samonides Suites and James Carlton of the State Farm Insurance Agency. I'm Eric Sontag. I'm joined by Shawn Surwillo, Tito Ulrich, and our very special guest, three-time NCAA Tournament participant and Mizzou legend, Kareem Rush. Kareem, the best time of year, man. So really appreciate you hanging out with us today. How are you feeling this week? I imagine a lot of excitement.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Tournament time is my favorite time of the year, in all aspects of basketball, even NBA games, So I might not have watched a lot of college basketball throughout the year, but come tournament time, it's number one on the list and top priority. So, it's a good time, exciting time for the players. The guys get a chance to go through this whole process, compete for a championship. So for them, it's kind of always kind of see the excitement, sitting around as the fans, the universities, everybody's kind of dialed in. The world is dialed into March Madness. So it's a really fun time.
Yeah, we are pumped up. This is my favorite time of the year on the sports calendar. Tito, I know it is for you too. So, man, Tito, how excited are you for the madness this week?
Oh, dude, I can't wait. What a great time of year. What a glorious week this is going to be. Thursday and Friday, watching tournament games, staying home from school, just being able to take a few PTO days off of work and be able to watch some college basketball, watch some great announcers, get all excited, watching the Zebras, trying to steal the spotlight of all these young kids. We're going to hold them accountable today. Super excited to be joined by, what me and Sean call silky smooth Kareem Rush when we were in high school. Really, really admired you and super fanning out right now. Big fanboy of you. So really jacked up, ready to get started, really fill out this bracket and be able to lay out some picks for you guys.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and Sean, I know this is high tide season for you as a sports gambler. I know you were telling me the other day that one of your favorite gambling wins you've ever had was because of Mr. Rush right here. So why don't you go ahead and tell that story?
Yeah, Kareem, back in 2004, I had been following you through Mizzou, and you were with the Lakers, and I was a young cat. I was about 19 years old. I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I had 500 bucks on the Lakers to win that conference finals, and you went 6 out of 6,
Oh,
your
yeah.
first 6 shots from beyond the arc. You cashed me that 500 bucks, brother, and I really appreciate that because I was a broke ass kid and I needed it.
I got you.
So I'm guessing you have fond memories of that game, Kareem. I went back and watched the highlights. You were on fire, and that game was in doubt. 6 for 6 against the T Wolves in Game 6 to send the Lakers to the finals. So, like, what was that experience like in that game?
It was cool. That was my job, So hitting those shots kind of in the moment, I didn't really realize it because it was three in the first half and three in the second half. But then when you kind of look back and the magnitude of the game made it so much bigger than kind of what I, thought, like kind of as you're going through it. But it's one of those clutch moments, and still, like I said, I still get probably 4 or 5 people per year kind of tell me about that game, especially in LA when I'm out there. But yeah, definitely one of the highlights of my career for sure.
I love that, man.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
if
man.
you're
I can't. I'll always remember that game. You were hitting them buckets, and I'm getting ready to cash that bet. Man, it was huge. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Well, guys, if you're watching, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our Sports Hub STL YouTube channel. And a reminder, you can join us for Domesticated Gamblers every Friday at 12 p.m. live here on YouTube as we preview the weekend ahead from a gambling perspective. So mark your calendars, take your lunch break with us every Friday, and get ready to cash some bets over the weekend. So here's what we got for you on the show today. With Kareem here, we're going to focus in heavy on Mizzou to start the show. We'll talk about them from a big picture perspective and then really dive into this matchup with Drake on Thursday and each give a pick for that game. Then we'll begin our bracket breakdown as we go game by game and fill out a bracket live here on the show. We'll talk dark horse teams we think we can go far, Cinderella teams we think can pull off a big upset, and also talk some of the bets we like in round one. And we'll close out the show with our best bets where we each give our favorite play from the round of 64. And we'll also each give our own picks for the Final Four and the national champion. So let's get started by diving into Mizzou. And our Mizzou coverage here on Domesticated Gamblers is brought to you by a new sponsor here on the show, and that is James Carlton with the State Farm Insurance Agency. And this applies to every single one of you watching this because all of you need insurance. You need it for your car, or you need it for your home, or for where you rent. And I think a lot of you out there are like how I used to be. Like, you don't really think much about who your insurance agent is. You just get billed once a month or a couple times a year, however you set it up, and you move on. But man, I'm telling you guys, you are doing yourself a disservice if you do not get a quote from James Carlton and State Farm because everything is getting more expensive, right? So for me, I got a renewal notice from my old agent a few months ago, and it was a significant increase from what I had been paying last year. So I've heard about James Carlton for years now, supporting Mizzou athletics. I got in touch with his office, got a quote. Turns out I can save over $800 for 2025 by having my home and auto insurance with James Carlton and State Farm. So that's exactly what I did. I made the switch. It was a super easy process that James and his team took care of. And now I got an extra $800 in my pocket this year because of it. I mean, for real, guys, you hear people talk about easy money and gambling sometimes, even though it doesn't always end up being the case. Well, this is easy money. It just takes a few minutes to get a quote at carltoninsurance.net, or you can do what I did. Just save a PDF of your current policies, email them to James and his team, and they'll get back to you with the quote to see if they can save you money with the exact same coverage. And if you're like me, there's a very good chance they'll be able to do exactly that. When you get a quote, mention Domesticated Gamblers or Sports Hub STL, and they'll make a donation on your behalf to Mizzou's NIL fund. So if you're a diehard Mizzou fan like me, it's a win-win because you're saving money and you're helping your Tigers. So get in touch with James Carlton today. The phone number, 314-961-4800, 314-961-4800, or go to carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. And guys, let's start the show by talking Mizzou. And Kareem, I want to start with you before we really dive into the matchup with Drake. The Tigers, with just a fantastic, unexpected season, 22 wins, including the big ones over Florida and Alabama, hit a bit of a speed bump here down the stretch. They lose 5 of their last 7 overall, but I thought a pretty solid performance in the SEC tournament. Nice win over Mississippi State. They really took a good run at Florida without Mark Mitchell. So Kareem, give me your overall impressions of Mizzou this season and how you feel about them heading into the tournament.
I mean, obviously, we had a great comeback from an 0-18 season, so anything would have been better than last year. So, extremely proud of what Dennis did. Kind of coming back from that adversity, maintaining guys. Really kind of diving into the portal and hitting home runs with Mark and a couple of guys. So, I was very impressed with the guys throughout the course of the year. Had a couple of top 5 wins. Really kind of solidified ourselves as a top 20 national team. It's really starting to garner a lot of interest there. So proud of the guys, Sir, Caleb, all those guys, it's really proud of our depth. A lot of guys stepped up, really Mark Mitchell, KC guys tomorrow, so, but we didn't finish the way we, obviously wanted to, losing 4 out of the last 6, but if we go on in and play our style of ball, I see no reason why we can't move past Drake. I haven't get a chance to watch a lot of tape on Drake yet, but I've heard they, obviously slow it down. It's kind of the big storyline around what they do. You got a nice point guard, but looking at our depth, looking at Ant Robinson on their point guard, I think we got favorable matchups in certain areas. Again, we go out there and play, Missouri basketball. We should definitely come out with a win against Drake.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, Kareem, I'm with you. But, what do you think Gates can do here? Can he, the defense has been struggling lately. What about bringing in Marshall down low? He's a big man. I know he's a true freshman. Maybe helping down on the glass. He got a couple good minutes with oh shoot, who was out? Mitchell was out last game against Florida. So he looked pretty good down low on the glass. He was competitive down getting those boards. Do you think we see any more out of him this tournament?
I mean, I think it depends on how, hurt Mark is. I think it was more precautionary, right? He didn't play that second game in the SEC tournament. But if he's held, I think we stick to what we've been doing. Our rotation has been our strong suit, and our depth has been our strong suit. If there's a situation where we need somebody to come in and need some more depth there, then certainly I see him playing more of a role there. But I think just kind of sticking to what we do, we got to find ways to get Caleb, some open shots and get him moving and get some open, because, when he's open, when he's hitting, it kind of creates a whole new, energy for our team defensively and offensively. So we need to find a way to kind of get him going. And I thought Tamar stepped up, towards the end. He can kind of create shots and be the guy to kind of go one-on-one. When Mark drives, he's generally going for himself in his own bucket, but we need somebody to kind of create shots for Caleb. We need to kind of, really kind of get back to, getting steals and getting to the free throw line, because we don't win those 2, battles per game, we're going to have a tough time winning games. But again, I'm anxious to see kind of what this matchup looks like. The pressure that we put on people, it's obviously going to speed the game up. So no matter how slow you may think you may run, the pressure is going to kind of speed you up regardless. So I'm curious to see if we get out, to a nice early lead. They can't slow it down. They gotta come back. So the momentum could change really quick to how we want to play, depending on how quick we kind of get out. But we allowed them to kind of slow the game down and kind of slog zone, and then we could be in some trouble. But again, when Caleb gets in, let's find him some shots. Let's get to the line. Let's get out in transition. Let's create some easy buckets for our guys, and let's put the pressure on them.
And that's been one of my biggest things I saw when the bracket came out. Talking to Eric and Shawn about this is that, I think that if Drake plays with a really, really slow tempo like they like to do, if we can get out and, really, really like, hit him right in there between the eyes and get the momentum going where we get out to a quick 5-6 point lead, I think they all have no choice but to try to speed up the game to try to play catch up. So I like our chances. I like the outside shooting by Grill. I like the outside shooting by Bates. I think, Ant Robinson can create a lot of havoc with creating a lot of turnovers. And I think, I see this as an easy matchup for the Tigers. I'm a big fan of Caleb Grill and Ant Robinson and even Jacob Cruz with the headband daddy. What a great performer out there. I love that guy. And I see a big time W for the Tigers. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, and people got to forget those last 4 to 6. It was against SEC opponents. Like these are 20-win teams, so it's not like we was struggling. We still scored 80 points in all those games. We just had a hard time stopping people. So if we make a few minor adjustments, which I think Dennis will, and again, it's tournament time. So you're gonna be amped up regardless. So guys are excited to play, especially for our seniors. They're getting a chance to play in this last year. Going from 0-18 to now being a 6th seed, and a good chance to. Texas Tech looking ahead is going to be tough, but I think we definitely have a favorable matchup against Drake.
Yeah, and I'm not really worried about the momentum thing about losing 5 of their last 7. Like I said, I don't think it's a case they were just playing bad. Every SEC team went through a stretch like that, probably outside of Auburn or Florida. It just so happened Mizzou's came at the end of the season. And I was looking at your 0-2 team, Kareem, that went to the Elite 8. You guys lost 3 of your last 5 in the regular season. You lost in the second round of the Big 12 tournament. But then you go on to make the Elite 8 as a 12 seed. So I would imagine the momentum thing is overrated, and it's kind of a clean slate starting Thursday, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, once, like you said, once you win that first one, you just think, okay, yeah, this is winner take all. Next one, let's see how to go out there and play. You have a good game, guys step up, and you keep advancing. So it's a free for all once you get in the tournament. You obviously want to be playing your best ball going into it, but I think if you get through that first or second round, momentum just there. The excitement around the school is there. You back on campus, getting through that first weekend, that whole entire second week is crazy. So like I said, the first week, the first games are the funnest because you get to see all the teams, you get to see players you've never seen before, storylines you haven't heard. But I'm really curious to see what that Cinderella team is going to be, what that player that I haven't heard about is going to step up and become a national figure, who's going to be on one shining moment because we all want to be there. So. The whole entire deal it's the perfect tournament. There's nothing better in sports than March Madness.
Yeah, Auburn lost 3 out of its last 4, and nobody nationally is talking about them struggling. So yeah, that narrative just needs to end. I'm with you, Kareem. Players get out there, you make some plays, we get out to a big lead. Drake will be in trouble. If we can get a 10-point lead on them, they're going to have to speed up. That's a great breakdown by you.
Yeah, because as a player, you're not even thinking about the 3 losses. You're like, man, damn, I know we messed up here. Small thing, we should have did this better. And now you're thinking about, okay, we got to get the next one. You're not thinking about, oh man, we lost 3 out of 4. Damn. You want the momentum to pick up, and if you get one, that's all you need. You need to see if you're struggling, you need one game where you shoot better, and all of a sudden your whole entire confidence is shifted from game to game, from moment to moment. You have a great half. You come in the second half feeling a little better, and then you forget about those 3 to the 4 or 6 losses that we had, So like I said, guys are amped. I know how I'm amped, and it's around that time, like automatically I start feeling this way. So I'm excited for the guys to see how they do.
Yeah, when you bring up the 0-2 team, I know as a fan, I was super jacked up to see you guys as a 12 seed because for a long time, Mizzou was always being 8 or 9 seed, and then if you get past the first round, you had that tough matchup against the 1 seed. I know as a 12 seed, you're facing a 5 seed. I know in 0-2, you guys were facing the Hurricanes down in Miami, and I was super pumped up. Me and Shawn skipped school that day. We were watching it from his bedroom. We were all jacked up, pumped up, and see you guys get on fire. Clarence Gilbert hitting it from the outside, Arthur Johnson down low. and just seeing the momentum. And then, like you said, you win in those first 2 games. You get back to campus. You see all the fans, really, really excited about the upcoming Sweet 16 game, and then the Elite 8 game. But talk about that, and talk about were you guys did you guys feel any sort of way being a 12 seed, or did you guys just kind of brush that off and just go take care of business?
I mean, we had a disappointing year, for our standards. I think that preseason their year, we started off number 2 in the country. I mean, we were kind of riding high off the second round matchup against Duke the year before, so we had a lot of expectations just coming into that to my junior year. So we definitely underachieved. I think we went 21, 24, and 12. I think we ended. So when we got in, I mean, we're 12 seed. I mean, obviously, one of the last teams to get in. Wasn't much expected, of us, but we knew internally that we had the talent to be much better than we were. And like I said, it was just route, playing it right at the right time. We caught a nice little streak, and if we'd have had an average game against Oklahoma, we would have been the Final Four team. So, but that was an amazing run. Guys, stuff that we still think about. So, but the Final Four would have been sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta hit your free throws and
no, that's all it was. I think Clarence had a 1 for 14 game. We missed a bunch of free throws. It was like one of the worst things ever from a shooting standpoint for Clarence. But again, like they have a great team too. Aaron McGee and Hollis Price and all those boys. Evie Eric, a tough team. And I found out that I was actually 0-6 all time against Oklahoma. So so tough.
I always hated that Hollis Price, man. He's such a great player, but God, he's pissed me off. Every time he took a shot, I felt like it went in. He was good. Well, last thing before we kind of dive in more to the matchup with Drake, I want to talk to you about your experience in the tournament. Like I said, you guys run deeper each year, and I really love the 0-1 team that that you beat Georgia by 2 in the first round, and you have the assist on Clarence's baseline J at the end of the game with 1 second left to win that game as they double teamed you, and you dish it to Clarence. He hits the jumper to win the game. So you get that moment of that buzzer beater in March Madness. Then you go on to face that Duke team that goes on to win the title, and you guys put up an incredible fight, thanks in large part to you and your 29 points, while you got a thumb that's like ready to fall off your hand, it looked like. So, and then obviously going to the Elite 8 the next year. So I find it interesting that like a lot of these guys on Mizzou, like Aiden Shaw is the only player that was on the team 2 years ago that made the tournament, but there are a lot of guys from other schools that have come here and have tournament experience. So I'm curious from you, like, how much does that experience matter as you guys were able to progress and gain more confidence as you get more tournament experience? How much does that experience matter? And maybe what are some of the keys to being able to make a deep run like you guys did in 02?
I mean, winning a national championship is obviously incredibly hard, so for players, it's much more just about the experience and getting in the tournament and getting the chance to actually live that. And you look back 20 years, you're going to remember this kind of what the tournament's all about, not where you finish. If you have a long run, even better. But for the most part, you're just kind of excited to kind of be a part. But for us, like you said, we progressed, every year that I was in school. First year, it was just new, brand new. We got a chance to go against North Carolina. With Ed Cota and Julius Peppers was a beast down there. Like, how you so big? How you playing basketball? A monster down here. And Brandon Hayward. So experienced that, had a great freshman year. Okay, boom. What we gonna do second year? We got to get better. So I obviously had a great sophomore year. And what really put me on the map was that Duke game because everybody was watching. It was Coach Q versus Coach K. Had the cash in one hand. And that really kind of propelled us to having a lot of expectation going into year 3. I think that's why we was preseason ranked number 2. We had the whole entire team coming back. We lost Brian, which we didn't really kind of anticipate being such a huge impact, which it was. But again, got high at the right time and made that historic run for us and something we still talk about. We had our 20 year a few years back. We all came down and got a chance to kind of relive some of those moments. So something you definitely think about, as you get up in age and get a chance to relive those things and think back at how special those times with your brothers and guys that you played with.
Yeah, I also found it interesting that every single team that you guys lost to in those 3 years ended up making the Final Four, which is just crazy. So one of these years is going to happen. Yeah, go ahead, Shawn, and then we'll move on to Drake.
Yeah, that's something, growing up, watching Mizzou, being a fan, you got to watch players grow and develop. And, I'm glad that the college athletes are getting paid, but that's a part that's missing now with the NIL. Everybody's moving around here and there. And it just, I loved watching my players develop every year in and year out. They're on that team. So I'm glad the players are, getting paid, but at the same time, I love to watch that team grow together because by year 3, we knew Mizzou was dangerous as that 12. And, I cashed some money on that. I knew you guys were dangerous. You had that experience. So, and you get to mesh and you play together and you know where everybody's at on the court together. So those things matter, but that's one thing I go back and forth on.
I think it'll happen in time. I think this stuff is kind of figuring itself out. Once schools get a chance to have, I think, $20 million budget. So a lot of kids gonna see something. You're gonna still have the movement, which I'm all for, because players shouldn't be handcuffed. They want to make a move. Coaches can do the same thing. But I think as far as like having those teams built for 1 to 4 years, that's probably not gonna happen anymore. But I can definitely see 2-year blocks where you can kind of build those teams around too, and based on the culture that you build, you have guys that stay long enough. And if you winning, the money's going to be there. So guys that get paid and have, a reason to stay there and monetize the whole NIL experience. So I think all that stuff will kind of, eventually figure itself out. I'm mad I wasn't around the NIL deal. I would have been paid. I would never left. You would never, I would stay 10 years if I could. If I
5-year starter, yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I'm doing with the bourbon and giving guys who are legends, like, old guys like myself at different schools, to be able to come back and offer a product to those fan bases and universities to support them and love them, and offer something that I think that people love, a nice 10-year vintage bourbon, with autograph with the player. So we do a lot of cool tied experiences to the brand. It's not just the bourbon, it's more about nostalgia, universities, your love for all that, connection with alumni and all that stuff.
Yep, we're hoping to create some more nostalgia here with this tournament run with Mizzou, create some new memories for Mizzou fans across the region. Let's dig in a little bit more to this game with Drake in Wichita on Thursday. Big theme of the game. A ton of people are talking about it, the contrast in styles. Drake plays with the slowest tempo in the country. And guys, I looked this up. Not only is Drake dead last in the country in tempo, they play at a slower pace than any Division I team over the last 10 years, according to KenPom. It's crazy. You also have this head coach, Ben McCollum, wins 4 national championships in D2 in Northwest Missouri State. He takes the Drake job. He brings 4 of his starters with him, and 3 of these kids were under-recruited players from the state of Missouri, including the Valley Player of the Year, Bennett Sturts. So these kids are going to have some extra juice going up against Mizzou. So, this is going to be a fascinating watch. The current odds on DraftKings, Tigers are up to 6.5-point favorites, and the total is set at 132.5. So, Kareem, I'll start with you. What are some of the keys you see in this one? And I'm sure you're going Mizzou. Got to go Mizzou, but where are you leaning for a pick in this game?
Like I said, obviously Mizzou. I'm going Mizzou all the way through. I'm a homer. But like I said, I think it's really come down to how fast of a start we get out to. If we can get up to a 6-8 point lead, they have no chance to slow it down. So I think that's important. The first 10 minutes of the game, we allow them to kind of slow it down. They can kind of stay in it. It'll be tough. But again, like I said, come out and get paid for some open shots. Guys go out there and be aggressive, get up in transition. Like I said, build that lead, and it'd be hard for them to catch up to us.
Shawn, how are you seeing this game?
Yeah, I'm not going to lean Mizzou. This is something I call emotional risk management. So I'm going to be rooting for Mizzou, but my money's going to be on Drake. That way, if we do lose, I cash some money. So I'm going to be rooting for Mizzou, but my money's going to be on Drake plus 6.5. So it's a win-win for me here.
There you go.
So what's leaning you towards Drake, Shawn?
I don't like this slow pace of play. You talked about it's the lowest pace of play in over 10 years. And it's just emotional risk management. I've been here with Mizzou, and I don't want to see this first round bounce. So my money just goes on Drake for emotional risk management here. That's it. That's the only reason I'm taking Drake.
Tito, if I know you like I think I know you, you're going to be optimistic on the Tigers here. Is that indeed the case?
1,000%. This Shawn guy is a complete fraud of a fan, Kareem. Don't even worry about what this guy's talking about.
Right.
I've been a fan since 1989 when Doug Smith and Anthony Peeler were at the Hearn Center, Daddy. So I'm a huge Mizzou fan. This, like I said, Mizzou's going to win by double digits. There's no respect being thrown by the media. You got Jay Billis's of the world, the Dinky Vitales of the world. They're calling for Drake. I was a big Drake fan the last couple of years when me and Eric would go down to Arch Madness. I thought there was still like that Derek Sturts. I thought that's the guy you were talking about, Eric, not this Bennett Sturts. A lot of freaking da. So we're going to shut those guys down. The Bulldogs are going down. Mizzou by 1 million.
I like it.
So this game, like I am confident Mizzou's going to win, but this just has the potential to be an extremely frustrating game to watch as a Mizzou fan. I mean, this like reminds me of like a trip to the dentist because like the Bulldogs, they play so slow. They run the shot clock down on most of their possessions. And I think one huge key in this game is going to be offensive rebounds. So Mizzou ranks 300th in the country in giving up offensive rebounds. And even though Drake doesn't have any players taller than 6'8", they're 17th in the country in getting offensive rebounds. So like, I just picture in my mind, like a lot of these possessions where Drake's running 30 seconds off the shot clock, they miss a shot, they grab the offensive board, and then they're running another 20 seconds off the clock, and you're defending for almost a full minute at a time. So like, I think the key to this game, Mizzou needs to be disciplined throughout. And, on the offensive rebounds, obviously you got to make sure you limit those. The weakness Drake has on offense is they turn it over a lot. They're 279th in the country in turnover percentage, and Mizzou is 10th in the country in steal percentage. So when Mizzou turns them over, I think they got to go fast and go down the court and score before Drake can set up their defense and then just muck up the game some more. So, like Kareem, I think a huge X factor in this game is Ant Robinson. Like we have seen too many games this season where he's not disciplined. He gets into foul trouble early, and then like he's essentially a non-factor most of the game. But like when the good Ant shows up, I mean, like, my God, he's just like he's so disruptive on defense. He's getting steals that lead to easy buckets. And I think like when he in particular is on his game, I think Mizzou can beat anyone in the country, like for real. So like he needs to play well because if he doesn't and like Sturts is eating him up all night, this could be trouble. So like Kareem, can you talk a little more about Ant and like how important he is to this team and kind of what their ceiling is?
I mean, in tournament time, you need everybody to step up. We can't have any slacking. We can't get in foul trouble because he is the engine that kind of starts us on the defensive end, all SEC defensive player. So especially on their point, we're gonna need him to kind of step up. And again, getting out in transition, getting those steals, kind of being an early leader on defense to kind of get lead to the ugly basket for us. To, like I said, get that lead so we playing out from in front. If it comes down to a sluggish game, it's gonna be it's gonna be a long and ugly one. But again, this is tournament time. It's always kind of a mess of, of different styles. So we just got to impose our will. And again, like get out early and make sure that we kind of hammer in, not allowing the offensive rebounds, get out in transition and knock down our free throws.
Yeah, I think it's really also on the offensive side. Like this needs to be a Mark Mitchell game. It sounds like he's healthy. We all know the Tigers, they like to get to the rim and get to the free throw line. Drake is 303rd in the country in 2-point defense, and they give up a high number of free throw attempts. So I think Mizzou needs to use their athleticism, pound the rock inside, get to the free throw line, and I think there's no better player in this team for that than Mark Mitchell. Like I don't think Drake's going to be able to handle them. So that goes back to the discipline of what I'm talking about. Stop settling for these bad threes. Like get the ball inside, get it to Mitchell in every possession. I think that's just going to lead to a lot of high percentage shots at the rim. You're going to get tons of free throw attempts, and then the threes you get are going to be good quality looks instead of having to force it. So I really think that's what it comes down to is like the discipline of boxing out on the defensive end. Don't let Drake dominate the offensive glass. Get the ball inside, draw the fouls, get shots that are high percentage from 2-point range, and then take care of the ball too. I was stunned when I saw this. So we, how good Mizzou is at turning people over. They're 10th in the country in steal percentage. Drake is number 1 in the country in steal rate. So they steal the ball away in over 14% of their opponent's possessions. So, Mizzou needs to take care of the ball too. Like Kareem, do you agree with me that like is Mitchell the most important offensive player in this game? Or do you have your eye on somebody else as the big key, or is it just everybody?
I mean, we need Caleb. I mean, I love our depth, but in times like this and, playoff time and tournament time, it's always good to have a guy that can go out there and get you 30 or it can create a double team or can create mismatches where it allows for open shots for guys. So if we're not getting in transition, getting wide open threes, we do have a tendency to take challenging threes and contested shots. But again, Mark is the guy that can go out and get his own. I think it's like I said, Tamar, Ward, those guys have shown the ability to kind of get by, their defender and create open looks for guys. Tony did a great job of that as well. But again, I think if we can get Caleb going, the momentum he creates with his stuff, it's a different energy when he's hot. It just opens up the floor for a lot of different players. And it gets us, just kind of operate a lot more efficiently. So I think we just got to find different ways to kind of get him going. But again, because Mark's going to do what Mark's going to do. But again, I think Caleb is really the barometer of us, playing well throughout the tournament and advancing throughout the tournament. We can have him without having a huge impact on our winning.
Yeah, and I think Caleb's going home, ain't he? Isn't he from Wichita? So, it's got all the right makings of a grill daddy having a big game. Also, Drake, we talked about Eric. You were saying how they get a lot of offensive rebounds, but have they played a team like Mizzou with our depth? So, let's say we do have to defend for a minute. With our depth, that's probably not going to be as big of an issue for Mizzou.
True.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. What about Grill? Like, he's been slumping from three for about 9 games now. He's under 30% during that stretch. Kareem, obviously, you hit a lot of threes in your career. What is that like when you're going through a slump like that? And is it just like it's a case of one game, you snap out of it? Or like, and what is it like? Like, do you think he's feeling any confidence or lack of confidence right now? Or what is that like? Or how do you get out of a slump like that?
No, he takes challenging shots.
Yeah.
Like I thought my step back threes were challenging. Caleb takes just about difficult shots that I used to take. But now that teams are focusing in on him. Especially I looked at the Kentucky game. They chested him. Make sure he gets no looks. So now I think he's kind of thinking I think he knows that he needs to get things going and kind of get our offense stirred. So he's forcing shots, and I think as a shooter, you're always confident that you're gonna make regardless, because it don't matter what, if you fall in the way or taking it for 35-footer, you didn't hit it enough time in practice where you think it's this is money. So I understand his confidence. Trust me, it's never wavering. He's gonna shoot, but we need to get him open looks, get him some easier looks, and so those challenging shots become a little bit better and easier for him once you see a couple, go to the hoop. Either that could be a transition because he's shown that he can get out on the break, but he's not a one-on-one go get it player. He needs to have a screen, but I think some different actions for him, getting a couple other guys, driving and kicking can open it up for him. But again, and also easy transition looks when guys are driving, closing out, and then the swing when they can't really focus on them. But again, getting him open looks, like I said, it kind of gets us going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with Mitchell. If this is a Mitchell game and he's getting inside, it's going to lead to more open looks and good quality 3-point shot attempts. So, like, really the way I see this game going, it's a lot like the last time Mizzou played a Valley team in the NCAA tournament. It was 2003. So the year after you left college, Kareem. Tigers were a 6 seed like they are this year. They played Southern Illinois in the first round. Mizzou survived 72-71 before they lost to D Wade and Marquette in the second round in overtime. So my lean for this game, I think Drake covers the number, but I think Mizzou wins and moves on. I don't think I'm going to bet the side or the total, but my best bet for this game, you can get Mark Mitchell to score 15 or more points. You can get that at plus money, plus 110 on DraftKings. So I really like that play. Mark Mitchell, 15 or more points at plus 110 on DraftKings. All right, guys, I want to start to fill out this bracket here because I love diving deep into Mizzou, but man, I want to talk about this bracket. And our bracket breakdown here on Domesticated Gamblers is brought to you by Samonides Sweets. Tito, you got to love those half-pound cookies. Tell us more about Samonides Sweets.
Well, before I tell you about Samonides Sweets, everyone knows that Tito's a big sports announcer fan. I love Dickie V, so I'm gonna change things up a little bit. We're doing a March Madness breakdown, so I'm gonna do my live read as Dickie V, Daddy. So, oh baby, let me tell you something. Listen up, cookie lovers and my Domesticated Gamblers fam. You're not gonna believe this, baby. I've been shouting it from the rooftops. I gotta tell you, Samonides Sweets is a slam dunk, a grand slam, a hat trick of deliciousness. These cookies are dyed for dandies, folks. They're not just cookies. They're half-pound monsters, Daddy. We're talking premium, top-shelf ingredients, and guess what? They'll deliver these bad boys right to your doorstep. Just head on over to SamonidesSweets.com. The link's in the YouTube description. And get ready for a taste sensation that'll have you shouting, "Are you serious?" And oh, baby, while you're munching on these champions of the cookie world, why not place a few bets on March Madness? These cookies are the ultimate snack for your sports betting showdown. You can't lose with a camel like that, folks. And the flavors, they're unreal, baby. You got chocolate overload, sprinkle deluxe, melt in your mouth, not in your hand, white chocolate macadamia nut. These are all Americans, no doubt. Don't forget Tito's MVP pick, the classic chocolate chip. And for my peeps with special dietary needs, they got vegan and gluten-free options. What a PTP, baby. And if you're feeling fancy, dive into the deluxe cookie collection with stunners like banana pudding cookie deluxe and turtle cookie deluxe. Bite-sized goodies, they got those too. Every single cookie is made to order for freshness that's unmatched, baby. they'll have you calling for a TO, Daddy. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to SamonidesSweets.com. Order up these rock stars of the dessert world and follow them on Instagram at Samonides. That's SAMONIDES. It's a no-brainer, folks. Sweeten up your life and pair it with the thrill of sports betting. Indulge in sweet perfection with Samonides Sweets. It's awesome, baby, with a capital A.
I love it, Tito. Samonides
Well done,
Sweets.
brother. Well done. Well
yeah,
done.
Pretty good.
sponsor of our bracket breakdown here, Domesticated Gamblers at Samonides Sweets. And here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to get the bracket up on the screen here, and we're going to fill it out live here on the show in real time. We'll each pick a winner for each game, and the consensus pick moves on. If it's tied 2-2, Kareem's pick is the tiebreaker for who advances because, as it may surprise you, the rest of us never played college basketball or in the NBA. So we'll trust your expertise, Kareem.
Trust it.
Hey, I'm a CYC basketball coach. I think my expertise should outweigh a little bit of what a professional basketball player has done. I don't know.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Also, for each region, as we're going through it, we're each going to give a dark horse team we think can go far, a Cinderella team we think can do some damage. So essentially at the end of this, like, we'll have a consensus Domesticated Gamblers bracket. And also as we're going through this, guys, feel free to give some bets if you have a good feeling on the side or the total. I just don't want to force a bet on every game because, frankly, like, we haven't watched all these teams. We're not going to have a strong opinion on every game. So let's get into the bracket here as I bring it up on the screen. And let's get started here as I zoom in and make it look the way I need it to. We're going to start in the South region with Auburn taking on the whichever 16 seed we have. I don't think we'd have to have much discussion on that one. We'll go ahead and advance Auburn to the round of 32.
A fun fact here about Auburn, there's never been a team to win the NCAA tournament that's lost 3 out of their last 4 games heading into the tournament.
Key insight right there.
I am fascinated by that. Like, how much of it was that they clinched the SEC regular season title, they take kind of a breath. But man, in sports, I'd imagine it's hard to flip on and off that switch. Louisville and Creighton, actually the very first game of the tournament Thursday morning. This just one reeks of like, I'm going to get this one wrong, and then we're going to be 0-1 to start the bracket. So Louisville taking on Creighton. Kareem, do you have a take on this game?
8-9, obviously a close matchup there. So haven't watched either one of these teams. So from a gut, I like Creighton because one of my boys with the Creighton, so I'm going to pick Creighton.
All right. Shawn, what do you got?
I also like Creighton in this game.
All right. That advances him ahead. One thing to look at here, this game is in Lexington. So this is essentially like a home game for Louisville. And I loved betting Mizzou first half spread this year. Louisville is 21-2 against the spread in the first half over their last 23 games. So Louisville first half is going to be a bet for me. Let's move on.
Eric is kind of out announcing his Midwestern twang there too. It's not Louisville, it's Louisville. It's Louisville, Eric.
Louisville.
Come on.
That's right. All right. I am fascinated by this next matchup with the 5 seed Michigan up against everyone's darling, it seems, the 12 seed UC San Diego. Tito, where are you going on this one?
Upset daddy, here we go. UC San Diego, Hayden Gray, an all-time, great Steeler, great defender for UC San Diego. Was not impressed. Michigan's got a few outside shooters that they got a few 6'9", 6'10" shooters from the outside. But we're going with UC San Diego on my bracket, daddy.
Yeah,
Shawn,
I disagree here. I like Michigan. Michigan got robbed here. They already had this bracket figured up before the tournament came out. The selection Sunday. They won the Big Ten. I don't think they should have been a number 5 seed. They should have been a little higher. I'm taking Michigan.
I went Shawn. I'm going Michigan. They did just win the Big Ten.
Ooh,
My upset is next from the next matchup.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I got to say, this makes me nervous because I feel like a lot of times, the popular Cinderella pick is the one that doesn't come through. But I love this UC San Diego team. Michigan in altitude in Denver is where this game's at after a tough run in the Big Ten tournament. 2 of the last 3 Big Ten tournament winners have lost in the first round. Michigan cannot take care of the ball. They're 328th in the country in turnover rate. UC San Diego, number 2 in the country in forcing turnovers. And I like this as a gambler. They're the number 1 team in the country against the spread. Keep an eye on this kid, Aniwa Tate Jones. I think this kid's going to be a stud. The country's going to fall in love with him, with his name. I'm taking UC San Diego in my own bracket, but with 2 votes, Michigan goes through.
I can change my vote. After hearing those stats, I'm going UC San Diego.
Yes.
Oh, we got a flip here.
We got a
Yes.
flipper. Yeah. I did not know those stats. I got to bet as a smart man.
All right. I bring the data and I convince. Now I'm going to really give you some hard data. Now I know
Maybe
I
you should
give me
bring
the
the data to start with, Eric.
Yeah, give me the data, and that I can have a more informed decision on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, this next game, you said you're looking upset, and I am too. So I'm going to give you, we're already going to advance Yale because that gives us 2 votes. So tell us what you got in this one with Yale.
I just heard, from all the analysts when I was watching CBS that they like Yale's physical team. I've seen a couple of Texas A&M games, but this one I'm just kind of riding on what's been saying in the media. But I will watch a few Yale games prior to this one. But I'm curious. Like I said, I think it's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, I hate Texas A&M. Go ahead, Tito.
They got a lefty shooter, John Polakidis. That's an absolute rock star from the outside. Reminds me a little bit of what Kareem did back when he was in Missouri days. So I like Yale. I got a 12-13 matchup on my bracket as well. And that Buzz Williams fella with the 3-piece suit, get out of here. Big wolf on that fella.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I'm on Yale too here. I'm going to be betting this one personally.
Oh my God. Yeah. I just hate the Texas A&M team. They cannot shoot the rock. Basically their entire offense is they miss a shot and they get an offensive rebound. Yale is top 25 in the country in not allowing offensive rebounds. Yale also 9th in the nation in 3-point shooting. So I love Yale, not just to cover the 7.5. I think they win the game. And I just in general, I really like the 13 seeds in this tournament.
Yale getting 7.5.
Yes.
Yeah.
A&M plus A&M minus 7.5.
Yeah.
I will definitely be on Yale. I'm going to sprinkle the money line as well.
Ooh, all right.
Yes. So then we got Ole Miss up against the winner of tonight's game between San Diego State and North Carolina. Carolina, the big controversy in this tournament sneaking in. Kareem, what are you thinking on this one?
I'm going Ole Miss here.
All right, little SEC. Shawn, what do you think?
Yeah, UNC. What is going on? The AD is on the board. We're talking about national corrupt. We got West Virginia going nuts about this thing. Give me Ole Miss so we can end this controversy.
Tito, got any thoughts on this one?
No, Ole Miss can't really score. They're 91st in the country in scoring, but their assist to turnover ratio is pretty dynamic. So I like Ole Miss in this matchup as well, Daddy.
So I'm obviously the only one here, but I'm going to take specifically North Carolina, although San Diego, I think San Diego State's going to get beat by Carolina. I feel like you see this a lot where the team that is the controversial one that gets in, everyone says they don't belong, and then they go on a little bit of a run. Did you guys, a first 4 team has advanced to the round of 32 in 12 of the 13 tournaments. So either San Diego State or North Carolina or Xavier or Texas, they're going to be getting to at least the round of 32. I'm very, very confident of that, but our consensus says Ole Miss. Iowa State and Lipscomb. I'm going to get us started on this one. I am taking Iowa State to advance in the bracket, but I'm going to be on Lipscomb plus 14.5. Keyshawn Gilbert, the St. Louis kid for Iowa State, he is out with an injury. Kid's a fantastic player. Lipscomb is super disciplined. They don't foul. They're top 5 in the country in fewest points allowed from free throws, and they can shoot the rock. Top 25 team in field goal percentage. Tito, you're going to love this. They shoot 80% from the free throw line. Lipscomb does. And I looked this up. We joke about, you got to hit your free throws in March. I saw this stat that teams that shoot 77% or higher from the free throw line cover the spread 63% of the time in the NCAA tournament. So I'm looking at these teams that shoot at least 77% from the free throw line to cover. Also, I see Kevin Harlan is on the call in this game. I just see this being like a super exciting go down to the wire. So I'm going to take Lipscomb to cover the 14.5. But I think Iowa State will advance. Kareem, what do you think on that one?
I'm going to go Iowa State. All
right.
Yeah.
I'm riding with you, Eric, on that 14.5. You're my college guy. I ride you a lot. I ride you like a dirty horse this time of year. So I'm going to ride with you on that one.
All right. Oh, I love that. We're going to have to clip that one off, I think. All right. Next, we got the 7-10 matchup, Marquette and New Mexico. Tito, why don't you kick us off on this one?
I like Marquette, Daddy. I like Shaka Smart wreaking havoc against New Mexico. So give me Marquette and Shaka Smart, Daddy.
John?
I got no real feel on this game. Like I said, I don't watch a whole lot of college hoops. This time of year I do. So I'll ride with Tito unless Eric gives me some crazy stats that I don't know about here.
Go ahead, Kareem.
I'm riding with Shaka because I like Shaka.
Yeah.
Clean sweep. I'm on Marquette as well. So this is one theme I have for the tournament. Fade the hell out of the Mountain West Conference. It's a reason I'm going to be in North Carolina to beat San Diego State tonight. The Mountain West Conference, double-digit seats from the Mountain West, are 3-31 all-time straight up in the tournament and 6-26-2 against the spread. So I am fading the Mountain West every chance I get. Give me Shaka and Marquette, and that's actually been one of my favorite bets of the first round.
So that line's 3.5. So
Yes.
You like that one a lot.
Marquette minus 3.5. I'm going to be on that one for sure.
3-unit play, maybe.
I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm still letting the bracket marinate with me a little bit. I can see how the public and the sharp action comes in. And then Michigan State and Bryant. I don't think we need to talk too much about that. But one thing to look at, Michigan State is one of those teams that shoots at least 77% from the free throw line. So I think Tommy Izzo and company can make a deep run. All right, let's move up to the top again. Auburn and Creighton. Kareem, where are you going for Auburn and Creighton?
Yeah, I'm going to stay with Auburn. I think they got enough room, potential player of the year. I think he sees them through.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Auburn as well. I don't think there's going to be much controversy on that one as well. If you guys disagree, feel free to just, chime on in. Then I really hope we get this matchup.
Oh,
UC
yeah.
San Diego and Yale. Tito, two Cinderellas head to head. Where would you go for this one?
It kind of breaks my heart to go against the lefty three-point shooter, but I'm going to go with UC San Diego. My sister lives in San Diego. She's a big beer person out there with Stone Brewery. So big shout out to you, Laura, but we're going to go with UC San Diego, Daddy.
John?
Yeah, I'll ride UC San Diego.
Kareem, what do you think?
Let's ride UC San Diego. I mean, regardless, it'll be a fun matchup just to watch. So
yeah,
if they here, they won already.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Like UC San Diego, I'm hearing chatter. It's like the best mid-major to ever be in the tournament. I think they're like top 35 in KenPom, like super dangerous team. I'm sure Michigan was pissed to be a 5 seed just to begin with, and then to get this draw with this team, man, I think it's super duper dangerous. Ole Miss and Iowa State, Big 12 against SEC. Kareem, where are you going for that one?
I got to rep the SEC, so we're gonna have Ole Miss, going through.
All right, Shawn, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with Iowa State.
Tito?
Chris Beard's going to get it done. The Rebels are going to knock off the 3 seed. We're going Ole Miss, Daddy.
So in my personal bracket, I'm actually picking North Carolina to go to the Sweet 16 because I just see this coming. Everyone's going to be pissed off that this team gets in the tournament, and then they get to take advantage of a Mountain West team in the play-in game tonight against San Diego State. And then, like we talked about, those play-in teams, one of them tends to get to the round of 32. Iowa State's beat up with Keyshawn Gilbert out. It wouldn't stun me if Lipscomb actually gets to be in that matchup in the second round as well. So I'll be taking North Carolina in my bracket, but consensus goes to Ole Miss. And then Shaka against Tommy Izzo. Kareem, what do you got for Marquette against Michigan State?
Michigan State. Let's go with Tom Izzo.
John?
Yeah, Michigan State. Tommy Izzo time.
Yep, I agree. Auburn, UC San Diego. Tito, do you have the balls to do it?
I do not in this one. Bruce Pearl's an absolute lunatic of a coach, but he got me fired up. But yeah, I can't let the Cinderella slipper is going to fall off here. We're going absolutely with Auburn in this matchup, Daddy.
John, do you agree?
Yeah, there's no way that this 12 is going to beat a 1 here. Auburn's way better team.
Yep, I agree. And then Ole Miss against Michigan State. Big Ten against SEC. Kareem, where are you going with that one?
Izzo. We're going Izzo.
Yep, Tommy Izzo, no doubt. Got to go with it. And then Auburn, Michigan State. And this is something I think is important. There are a lot of really good 13 through 16 seeds in this tournament. It's a lot of the number 1 seeds in the conference tournaments and those low major conferences won their tournament. So I do think we're going to get a lot of upsets in the first round, but I kind of get the sense this is going to be a chalky tournament once we get to the Elite 8 and deeper. So I have Auburn in Final Four in my bracket. Shawn, who would you take in Auburn and Michigan State?
I'm going Tommy Izzo. Like I said, there's never been a team that's lost 3 out of the last 4 to win the thing. So I'm going with Michigan State.
Tito, what do you think?
We're going Auburn, Daddy. We're going to knock off Tommy Izzo, death taxes, and Tom Izzo and Barge, but it's not going to happen this time. Auburn, baby.
All right. That makes Kareem the deciding vote. Who's the Final Four participant here from the South, Auburn or Michigan State?
I mean, I think at this stage, it really kind of depends on how the teams are playing. You have a good gauge over the first two games of who's playing the best, and then that will kind of probably. But just going off paper, I'm gonna go with Auburn. Had a great year, number one overall seed. But we'll see.
All right, we got Auburn in the Final Four in the Domesticated Gamblers bracket. Let's move on to the West. This matchup makes me want to puke with Florida and Norfolk State. Just seeing that name Norfolk State on the screen. Did you know, guys, also when Norfolk State beat Mizzou in 2012, they advanced to the next round to play Florida. Florida beat them by 34. And I watched that whole game just going, God damn it. Like, Norfolk State plays the game of their lives, and they advance to play Florida and get beat by 34. God, good Lord. So we're going to move Florida on. No discussion needed for that. Fascinated by this one. UConn and Oklahoma. Danny Hurley up against Porter Moser. UConn, obviously, with the pedigree, two-time defending national champs, but really subpar season by their standards. OU playing a lot better lately. Kareem, I know you hate OU, just like all of us do on this show. So where are you going with UConn and Oklahoma?
That's a tough one. I like the young kid, Oklahoma, Sears. No, Fears, what's his name? Sears.
Sears, the Alabama kid. I think I get Sears and Fears mixed up as well.
Yeah, Fears is the young kid at Oklahoma. Fears. I'll get a chance to watch a couple of their games. So I'm gonna stick with the SEC, even though I don't like Oklahoma, but I'm gonna rob the conference. I think, like you said, UConn had a down year, and like I said, I just want to see how well the SEC does.
All right, going with OU. Sean, where are you going on that one?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite bets of the weekend. Oklahoma getting 4.5.
Boy, I think there is something to that because I think just the public, think of all the Judys and the Nancys at the office filling out their bracket. Oh, UConn's won the last 2 years. Yeah, we'll go with UConn. I just think that's going to be a super square play to take UConn. So, yeah, OU plus 4.5. I think that's a good play. Speaking of favorite bets of the round, Memphis is a dog against Colorado State. Colorado State, a 2.5-point favorite. Memphis is one of my favorite bets of the first round. They should be favored in this game. PJ Haggerty is fantastic. Memphis is also a team that tends to play up to their competition and down to their competition. And just being an underdog in this game, I think they're going to be super up for it. In non-conference, they beat Mizzou, UConn, Michigan State, Clemson, and Ole Miss. Colorado State's best win in non-conference was against TCU, who didn't even make the tournament. So I love Memphis plus 2.5 in this game. So I'll be betting them on the spread and the money line. Tito, what do you think on that one?
This is where Eric's numbers get me bored to death. We're going with Colorado State, Daddy. We're going with another 12 seed, baby.
It's also Mountain West, baby. Fade that Mountain West. All right, so
yeah, the thing with Memphis, though, Eric, is Hunter's out. He's most likely not going to play this game. Give me the Rams here. I'm fading you, Eric.
All right, Kareem's the deciding vote. Where are you going?
I'm going to go with the Rams with the boys.
Oh, my God.
Let's go.
12 seed. You guys are going betting on the Mountain West. I wish you best of luck. Maryland, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon won a game in the tournament last year as a 12 seed, beat St. Mary's up against Maryland here. Are you going with the Lopes or the Terps, Kareem?
I am going with Grand Canyon because my girlfriend's daughter, it goes to Grand Canyon. So I got to support the school.
Ooh, Tito's pumping his fist. So I guess you're going Grand Canyon as well, Tito?
Even though I like Maryland, even though Maryland is a really good team, but I'm just going Grand Canyon because she's there.
That's a good play. It's a smart play. It's a sharp play by Kareem. We're going Grand Canyon, Daddy. I know Grand Canyon is 54th in scoring in the nation, and they're 232 in assists versus turnover ratio. But Grand Canyon is going to ride the momentum, and we're going to shock the world, baby. Let's go Grand Canyon again.
Man, we got to do a 14 parlay with UC San Diego, Yale, Colorado State, and Grand Canyon.
Wow. This is probably the only bracket in America that has a 12 and a 13 against each other in both regions.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we're curious how that shapes up. All right, we know we're going Mizzou because at least 2 of us are betting Mizzou. I think we got 3 of us on Mizzou. Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington. Texas Tech as a 3 seed. They're a little bit beat up right now. I think their status is uncertain for a couple of their starters. Kareem, where are you going with this one?
Yeah. I do know that they have had some injuries there, but I think they're going to pull out the first round. Now, the second round against Mizzou, if we advance, then that could be challenging. But I think they got enough to get past that first team.
All right, so 2 votes for Texas Tech. I'm on them as well. How about this game with KU and Arkansas? Bill Self against John Calipari. You got a Kansas team. This is the worst KU team we've had in quite a while. Under Bill Self, they've always been a 4 seed or better. KU to me looks like a team that just wants to go home. Arkansas trending up of late, so I'm going to be on Arkansas plus 4.5, and I'm taking Arkansas to advance as well. Tito, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, give me Hunter Dickinson and Bill Self. But Johnny Calipari needs to go home early and sip on some rigatoni. We're going with Hunter Dickinson and Kansas, baby.
Shawn, where are you going?
Yeah, I like that 4.5 myself, Eric. So give me Arkansas.
All right, Kareem, your deciding vote.
Yeah, I could never go anything with Kansas, so give me Arkansas.
Hey, your brother went to Kansas. Come on, Kareem.
Yeah. I don't like him either.
And then the Johnnies against Omaha. I'm assuming we're moving St. John's forward. No discussion necessary. Florida and OU, SEC on SEC. Kareem, where are you going?
Yeah, Florida's my champion, so I got Florida going through.
Yep.
Florida.
Florida for sure. Oh, the 2 Cinderellas again, Colorado State and Grand Canyon. Tito, give you the honors, buddy.
Give me Grand Canyon again, Daddy. Let's go. Shock the world against this 12 seed Colorado State Rams. We're going Grand Canyon in my bracket.
Shawn?
Yeah, I'm going to bet that this probably doesn't happen, but give me Grand Canyon too.
There's no way I'm going to bet on the Mountain West team ever.
Yeah.
So it's 3 votes for Grand Canyon. We're going to move them on to the Sweet 16. Oh, God. Mizzou and Texas Tech. Kareem, what are we going to do here?
Like I said, depending on the injury. So I'm going Mizzou all day.
Shawn?
If we can find our stroke again and we get hot, yeah, Missouri can win this game pretty easily, I feel like. So, yeah, give me Mizzou. I'm going to ride it out. This is one in our bracket that we've actually filled out that I think can happen. So, yeah, give me Mizzou.
Yeah, Texas Tech is very elite offensively, similar to Mizzou. I think they're back-to-back like 5 and 6 in KenPom and offensive efficiency. Texas Tech can defend as well. I think, but Mizzou obviously has proven they can beat anyone in the country. I think Mizzou, this is probably a coin. Texas Tech probably be a slight favorite by maybe 3 or 4 points. I think it's definitely very winnable for Mizzou. I got to be honest, in my bracket, though, I would go Texas Tech. Arkansas and the Johnnies, Patino, Calipari, Rigatoni special. Tito, what do you got in this one?
Let's go Ricky Pitino. He's going to go to the Elite 8 with the Johnnies. I can't wait. Let's go Ricky Pitino.
John?
Yeah, Patino, man. He's got that team fired up, boy.
Patino.
Yep, same. Clean sweep. Oh, I would love to see that. Missouri and the Johnnies. Oh, God, it'd be awesome. Florida and Grand Canyon. No one has the balls to take Grand Canyon, do they? No. All right, we're moving on. Florida and Mizzou and the Johnnies. I can't with a good conscience take Missouri. I just can't do it. So I would take the Johnnies if it comes to this. Tito, what do you think?
No, absolutely not. Mizzou's going to pull it out, baby. We got depth, we got scoring, we got expertise. Come on, what are we talking about here? Tamar Bates can shoot it from the outside. Caleb Grill can shoot it from the outside. Mark Mitchell down low. Tony Perkins, that guy's super underrated. That guy's got the 1-2. He's got it. Tito likes to talk about it. Tony Perkins has it. Go with MIZ, baby, to shock the world. Let's go.
I'm going to take St. John's and give Kareem the last say here.
Yeah, we on a heater, Mizzou.
Yeah, Daddy.
And then the rubber match with Florida. God, I would love to see this. It is interesting to me that, no Mark Mitchell. My power went out from the Storms midway through the first half, and I don't get a good signal, so I couldn't watch the last 30 minutes of the game. I just assumed Mizzou was just going to get their asses kicked with the way that game started, but they took a run at Florida. I think they were down 5 with about 7 minutes to go. That was super, super encouraging to me. So, man, I would love to get another shot at Florida, but it sounds like, Kareem, you're taking Florida as your national champion. I would take Florida here, so we will definitely advance the Gators. But I think Mizzou with the draw, I think the Elite 8 is in play. And then if you get there, you take your shot. One of these years, you're going to get over the hump.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Let's move on to the East region. We're going to move on Duke. God, poor Mount St. Mary's are American. God, if Duke can do to those ACC teams without Cooper Flagg and then they get Flagg back, oh my God, I can't imagine what the score of that game is going to be. Mississippi State and Baylor. Man, I love Josh Hubbard from Mississippi State, but I trust Scott Drew. I won't be betting this one, but like if I had to take someone, I would take Baylor. Tito, what do you think?
We're going Baylor. Let's go Baylor and the Bears. Scott Drew, baby. Let's go.
Sean?
Yeah, Baylor.
All right. Kareem, who would you take in that one? Baylor?
Let's go Baylor.
All right. The Ducks and Liberty. Oregon and Liberty. Kareem, who are you going to take in that matchup?
Give me some stats. Give me some stats on Liberty. I'm hearing a little bit about Liberty.
I don't know much about Liberty, but I love Dana Altman. I think I may be a little biased. The Oregon head coach, I'm just a big Dana Altman honk. He is 16-6-1 against the spread in the tournament at Oregon. So Oregon's 7.5-point favorite in this one. I'm going to be on the Ducks. Ducks are just kind of my pet team. I've been to Vegas a bunch of times in the conference tournament week, and when they were in the Pac-12, I would just bet on Oregon in every game because it was fun.
Let's go to Ducks. Let's go to Ducks then.
Let's go to Ducks.
Liberty they're 17th in the nation at 3-point shooting, so watch out. But I'll go with you on this one too.
All right. Then you got Arizona and Akron. I mentioned I like these 13 seeds in this tournament. Akron has won 21 of their last 22 games. So this team is hot, but I don't like the matchup. They love to play fast and they don't defend well. Arizona, remember when Princeton got them a couple of years ago and we were all excited because Mizzou was going to get to play Princeton? It's because Princeton would muck it up and slow it down and just execute. I think Akron's going to try and run with Arizona. I just think that's a recipe for disaster. So while I think Akron, it's frisky upon first glance, I would take Arizona. I lean Arizona even on the spread, but definitely Arizona to advance. Tito, you're kind of don't like my stats there.
No, I don't. I don't like the Zips either. They made me look bad a couple of weeks ago in the regular Domesticated Gamblers show. Made me lose a bet. So we're going with Caleb Love and Arizona, Daddy.
John?
Arizona.
All right, clean sweep. This next game is the game that I am struggling with the most of all 32 of these first-round games, BYU and VCU. I think both of these teams, I think the winner of this game goes to the Elite Eight. But my problem is I can't decide who's going to win. I'm a big St. Louis U fan. It's where I went to school, so I love SLU and Mizzou pretty much equally. VCU, it's just so nasty. They're so tough. They just get after teams so much. And you got BYU, they struggle with turnovers a lot. I think VCU is kind of like a Houston light where they really just get after you. And when BYU came up against Houston this year, they lost to them by 31 and by 20. So I don't think VCU is going to blow them out because they're not as good as Houston, obviously. I would definitely take VCU plus a 3.5 just because give me the points because I think it's a toss-up game.
Yeah.
But I would take VCU in my bracket. But like I said, I think whoever wins this game runs deep. Sean, sounds like you agree with VCU on this one.
Yeah, this is the battle of the government agencies here, the 3-letter teams. So, yeah, give me VCU.
Kareem, you got thoughts on this one?
I'm rolling with you guys. Let's go VCU.
Tito, what do you think? I know we're advancing VCU, but
Richie Saunders is gets lighted up from the outside with BYU. I love BYU in this matchup, and I can't stand VCU. Woof.
Man, I hate playing them. They're so tough. It's ridiculous. Next game, Wisconsin and Montana. God, I want to fade Wisconsin. They get 4 games in 4 days at the NCAA or at the Big Ten tournament. They look dead on Sunday. They had no legs against Michigan in that title game. And now they head to altitude in Denver, take on Montana, and pretty much any other 14 seed I would be on. But Big Sky teams are terrible in the tournament. 3-39 straight up in the tournament since 1985 for the Big Sky. So I'm advancing Wisconsin, but this is why I love the winner of BYU VCU to take them down. So, but Wisconsin straight up for me. Kareem, what do you think on that one?
Yeah, Wisconsin. Let's go Wisconsin.
And you guys have any thoughts on that one? And if there's any other upsets, if I'm moving along, feel free to chime in for sure. St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. St. Mary's plays probably as close as anyone in the tournament. They play similar style to Drake. I think they're in the 340s in the nation in tempo. So St. Mary's plays pretty similar to Drake, and Drake beat Vanderbilt on a neutral court in non-conference. So I like St. Mary's in this matchup, and I would take them minus 4.5. Tito, you're nodding. Do you agree?
Give me the Gales. Absolutely. They can play staunch defense, and give me the Gales all day in this one. Not a big fan of that Vanderbilt home court. I know this isn't being played at Vanderbilt home court, but we're going with the Gales.
Sean, what do you think?
I'm going to go Vandy here to give Kareem the last shot at it.
I'm gonna stay SEC and go Vandy.
Yeah.
Vandy is feisty. I think that's going to be a fantastic game. I really do. With St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. And then, oh God, Alabama against poor Bobby Moe. Bobby Moe. Alabama, I think, is they're trending down, but I think they can just run it up against these bad, not bad teams, but these lower conference teams. I did see Bobby Moe though 16-1 against the spread over their last 17 games, so I think Bobby Moe could cover here, but obviously Alabama to advance.
No. Robert Morris in this matchup, Daddy. We got Alvaro Figueroa. He gets a 6'9" Spaniard that can shoot the rock. They're gonna shock the world, baby. They're gonna play. I think it's the second game on Friday. Gonna start Friday off with a bang and gonna shock Alabama and that fraud Nate Oates, big wolf.
And that spread's 23.5, Tito. I think Alabama moves on.
Yeah, Alabama's good. I go Alabama.
Kareem, what's it like playing against a team like Alabama where it's just like complete chaos and like just up and down the whole game? Like, is that fun as a player or what is that like?
Man, that's like kind of reminds me of our 4 overtime game in Iowa State. Iowa State.
Oh,
So
Iowa State,
I think I shot 36 shots that game. So as a shooter, I love running the game. That's just how I wish I played in today's game. Shooting 23s a game would have been awesome.
Oh man,
God, I love that. Duke and Baylor, interesting matchup. Scott Drew, man, Baylor's down this year. On that 8-9 line though, I would take Duke to advance, but I don't think that would be easy. Tito, you're a Duke guy too. What do you think?
Oh, huge Dookie fan. Cooper Flag gonna light it up. That Baylor doesn't have a chance in this matchup.
Does Cooper Flag go into the NBA draft next year?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Probably number one pick.
So Kareem, do you think that there's any thought process for Flag of maybe taking it easy, or he wants to win this whole thing?
No. I mean, he's shown. Yeah, he's playing. He's playing for sure.
All right. Yeah, then give me Duke.
This is what you play for. It's March.
I go Duke too.
And then an old Pac-12 matchup, and now it's Big 10 against Big 12. The Ducks and Arizona. Boy, I would love to see this matchup. I would be on the Ducks because, like I said, I'm just a Dana Altman guy. Kareem, what do you think on this one?
Let's go with the Ducks. I like the Ducks too.
God, I like the Ducks.
Quack, quack.
VCU and Wisconsin, you guys already know my thought on that one. I think VCU or BYU is going to run deep, so I would take VCU to win that one. Tito, thoughts?
I like Wisconsin running the Big Ten tournament. I'm going with Wisconsin, Daddy.
Yeah, John? I'm with you, Tito. Wisconsin.
Deciding vote, Kareem.
I'm liking VCU. We got to have our Cinderella run.
Yeah.
Yes.
It might be VCU.
They actually started this trend of being the first. They were the very first year of the first 4. And they were the team that no one thought they should have been in. And then they get in and they make a run all the way to the Final 4. Mm-hmm. So that's what really started this trend. God, Wisconsin on altitude, having to play those guys that could just really get after you. I love VCU in that matchup. And then another SEC versus SEC in the second round, Vandy and Alabama. Kareem, where would you go with that one?
I'm going Bama. Bama, 91 points a game. They find their rhythm hot. They advanced.
Sean?
Bama.
Yep. All right. The Ducks and Duke. Tito?
Are you serious? You're asking me? We're going with the Dukies, baby. John Shire gonna go to his first Final 4, I think.
Kareem?
Dookie to the Final 4.
Dookie to the Final 4. I'm taking VCU personally in my bracket. I just am not sold on this Alabama team. But I'm sure I'm going to be outvoted here. Anyone want to join me on VCU here? Is a clean sweep on Bama?
Yeah, let's go with it. I'll go VCU.
I go VCU.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, we're going to look so smart if this happens. But this is where the run comes to an end. I think Duke, of all the 1 seeds, has the best path to advance to the Final 4. So we know we're moving on with the Dukies.
I mean, that's tough. If Flag, re-injures, he gets re-injured, I could see Duke getting bounced.
It's possible. Yeah. So, all right, 3 1 seeds so far. We'll try and fly through this one. Houston and our SIUE Cougars. My God, like Houston, just talk about how tough VCU is. Houston's just a different animal. Gonzaga, an 8 seed, even though they're the number 9 team in the country, according to KenPom. I'm going to be on the Zags in this one from a gambling perspective. Zags have been to the Sweet 16 in 9 straight tournaments. So I really like Gonzaga in this game, although that might be a little bit square. Kareem, what do you think on that?
I'm going to Zags.
All right. We'll advance the Zags.
And talk about a tough matchup for Houston there in the second round. Zags versus Houston. That's a tough draw, second round.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I agree. Teasing that a little bit. Clemson and McNeese, Will Wade, everyone's favorite coach for McNeese. I'm curious, McNeese, they played Bama this year at Bama and only lost by 8. They also played Mississippi State and only lost by 3. So they've also won 22 of their last 23 games. This could be your classic 12-5 matchup. I like Clemson, though. Veteran team in the Elite Eight last year. Shawn and Tito are both shaking your heads. So you guys are both taking McNeese, I presume, Tito?
I think this is the 12 that gets this thing done. Give me the 7.5. I'm going to be betting this thing personally.
Let's go, McNeese.
Turnover equals chaos. McNeese loves the chaos. They're going to take over. They're going to take over the Clemson Tigers, Daddy.
I love that we said this is going to be the 12 that's going to pull the upset. I'm pretty sure we have.
I got all 12s advancing, Daddy. I got all 12s advancing.
We do.
Just bet them on the money line and you'll cash. One of them will cash for you.
Well, speaking of money line upset, this is one of my darlings. High Point. I do not like this Purdue team without Zach Edey this year. 350th in the country in 2-point defense for Purdue. High Point is 15th in the country in 2-point percentage on offense. So I'm taking High Point plus 7.5. I don't have the balls to take them on the money line. But I'm taking High Point plus 7.5. And for the sake of this in my bracket, I would advance them in my bracket. High Point. Anyone else have anyone want to join me on the High Point band?
I'm on High Point here.
I'm going High Point.
We have another 12.
Yeah, we're all going High Point.
Yeah, we're going High Point.
Oh my
Another
God.
12 and 13 matchup in the second round.
This bracket is going to get shredded.
Shredded.
The Illini, the inconsistent Illini, taking on the winner of Texas and Xavier. Man, that is a fascinating trio of teams there. Kareem, how do you see that one?
I'm gonna go. Let's go Texas.
Yeah, John, what do you think?
I'm gonna go Hillside. They've gotten a little hotter lately. They had a little lag in the season. I really was dogging them for a while, but give me Illinois.
Tito?
Yeah, we're going the Illini, Daddy. Let's go fight an Illini. Brad Underwood, let's get it together. Let's light it up from the outside.
I don't trust Illinois. They're too inconsistent. I'm going with Kareem, although my pick is actually going to be Xavier instead of Texas. I'm a big Sean Miller guy, even though he's also kind of a scumbag, but he sweats a lot on the sidelines. So I like guys that sweat a lot. So I like Xavier. Again, that stat, a team that gets in the first 4, they're going to win at least one other game to get to the round of 32. UK and Troy, this Kentucky team, I don't know, man. I just don't feel like they have it this year. Kareem, what do you think on that matchup?
I like Kentucky. I like Kentucky against Troy.
Yeah, to win for sure. Kentucky, to beat Troy. I'm not going to be that brave, but I don't think this is the year Kentucky runs deep. UCLA, Utah State. It's a Mountain West team. I'm on the fade train. I'm taking UCLA to cover and to win. Again, I'm going to read that stat one more time. Double-digit seeds in the Mountain West Conference are 3-31 straight up and 6-26-2 against the spread in the tournament. It's like an automatic fade for me. So I'd be on UCLA. Tito, what do you think?
It pains me to go with Mick Cronin, that lunatic on the sideline, but we're going with UCLA, Daddy.
Sean?
Yeah, UCLA.
Clean sweep, Kareem, or would you go Utah State?
UCLA. Shout out to my brother, UCLA.
That's right. Tennessee and Wofford. Did you guys see this? One of the Wofford players, Kyler Filowich, he shoots 32% from the free throw line. He has started shooting granny shots from the free throw line. Kareem, did you ever ask Trayvon Bryan or Arthur Johnson, hey, man, this isn't good enough. Can we get the granny shots?
No, never. But I mean, it's effective. Barry, and then his grandson did it. So it's an effective method. You can make it.
I think it's interesting too. This kid's 32% from the line. He starts shooting granny shots, and he's still missing them. I feel so bad.
There's a show on Netflix about it's a spinoff of the Lakers, I believe, and it's kind of a girly show, but it's a basketball team. She runs the team. Well, anyway, a kid has to shoot him underhand like that. So me and my wife watched that show.
All right, so we'll move on. Tennessee.
The old granny shot.
Houston and the Zags. This is my upset special for the second round. Houston has tended to go out against teams that have a really good offensive game, and then Houston just where they just don't score. So I just think Gonzaga, this is a really tough draw for Houston. Gonzaga is number 9 in KenPom. Like, they're one of the best teams in the country from the metrics, but an 8 seed here. So I would throw a dart on Gonzaga. Kareem, what do you think?
Let's go to Zags here.
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot
I'm just
have
going to
all.
let you
all
know,
one.
Houston's been a number 1 seed the last 3 years. I think this is the year they get it done. They're my Final Four.
All right, I like that. McNeese and High Point, another 12-13 matchup. Tito, what do you think?
High Point, Daddy. We're going High Point in this matchup. Can't wait to see him score. Can't wait to see this matchup against McNeese.
John?
High Point.
High Point.
Yes, clean sweep. God, I really hope that happens too. Texas or Xavier against Kentucky. I think this would be the spot to fade Kentucky. I'm not a believer, so I think it's going to be Xavier going to the Sweet 16. Kareem, what do you think on this one?
We'll toss it up, stay SEC and go Kentucky.
All right. John?
Kentucky.
All right, that gets Kentucky forward. UCLA and Tennessee. I like this Tennessee team. I have them in the Final Four. Rick Barnes has had kind of a tough track record in the tournament, but I like this team, man. I would take Tennessee in this matchup. Tito?
Yep, Tennessee, baby.
Tennessee.
Gonzaga and High Point. Zags for me.
Zags.
Yeah.
And boy, this would be interesting if it is Kentucky and Tennessee. Kentucky's been Tennessee's kryptonite. UK has gotten them twice this year. I think the whole, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. I think that's overrated. So I would go Kentucky if this matchup happens again. I think they have their number. Kareem, what do you think?
I'm going Tennessee here.
Tennessee.
Yeah, it's not overrated. Eric winning a team 3 times in one season, that is not overrated. Look at the stats, Daddy. We're going Tennessee.
Well, it's interesting to me. I have Tennessee in the Final Four in my bracket, but if this matchup comes up, I would take Kentucky. And then the Zags and Tennessee, you guys know who I would go with, the Vols. Kareem?
I'm going Vols.
John?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
All right, so that gets our Final Four. This is actually the same Final Four I have in my bracket. Auburn and Florida, Duke and Tennessee. I would take the Gators to beat Auburn. Kareem, you said you got Florida all the way too, right?
I'm going Florida over Tennessee.
Duke against Tennessee. I would take Duke. I got Duke in that matchup. Tito?
Dukies, let's go.
So, Sean, you're the deciding vote in that one. Duke or Tennessee?
Boy, it's tough with flag. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
So, all SEC. Florida's advancing on because me and Kareem both are taking Florida. I do not like this, though, that Florida, I had identified them before the SEC tournament. I think this is the team that can go all the way. Just looking at their metrics, looking at their schedule and what they've done, I think they're going to go all the way. And now they're like the darling team that everyone is on. And that has me a little bit scared.
I got Houston winning it all this year. I think they finally get it done.
So who's your Final Four, Sean?
I have Auburn. Scroll down. I don't have my bracket up. It was Auburn and Florida, but I had Houston and Tennessee.
All right. Tito, who's your Final Four?
We got Auburn and Missouri and Duke and Gonzaga, Daddy, and we're going with Mizzou to cut down the nets for the first time ever, baby.
I like it.
Against the Dukies.
Kareem, where would you go for your Final Four?
This is my first bracket, so this is my first Final Four, so I'm going with this one.
All right, that sounds good. Let's wrap up the show with our best bets. So your favorite play either against the spread or a total or a prop from the first round. I really like that that play. Oh, let me get the bracket off the screen here. Hold on, just give me 1 second. I really like that play with Mark Mitchell getting at least 15 points at plus 110. I think that is a bargain. But my best bet for the first round is going to be Memphis plus 2.5. I am fading that Mountain West conference. Memphis, they, like I said, tend to play up or down in their competition with who they're playing. I think they should be favored in this game. They've beaten a ton of good teams. Colorado State hasn't beaten anybody outside their conference. So I just think these Mountain West teams are going to get their asses beat. I'm going Memphis plus 2.5 for my best bet. Tito, are you prepared to give your best bet?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm giving my best bet, and we're going to the 215 matchup in the West region. We got Omaha, Nebraska getting 18.5. It's minus 108 on DraftKings. Omaha, Nebraska, they are 20-9 against the spread, Daddy. We're going to take the Mavericks. They're not going to win, but they're going to cover the 18.5, Daddy. Let's go with that one, baby. That's my best bet.
All right. Shawn, where are you going for yours?
I'm taking OU, getting 4.5 against UConn. I'm with you, Eric. I think the public in general is just going to be on UConn. And give me that 4.5. But also, I would sharpshoot you, Eric, and I would go right against you and fade Memphis.
Woo! We might have to get a little side action on that. Just take the juice out of the equation.
Yeah.
Kareem, do you have a best bet for the round of 64?
I'm not a betting man, but I'm gonna go with you, Eric. I'm taking anything Mizzou related. So we're going Mark Mitchell to get 15.
Yeah.
Cover
I
that.
really like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
have you heard anything about his health? Do you have any inside knowledge or
Not
no
down.
idea? Everything
But
I
I mean,
hear
like I
is
said, I'm hoping that he will just, like I said, it's cautionary to hold him out. But then again, he'd be ready. 15 is we're gonna need him. We're gonna need that from him. So
yeah, totally agree. All right, guys, that is going to do it for our Sports Sub STL bracket breakdown presented by Samonides Suites and James Carlton of the State Farm Insurance Agency. Kareem, it was a blast, man. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to doing more stuff with you as we go forward.
nice to meet you, boys.
As
Thanks,
well.
Kareem.
All right, well, hit the like button, subscribe to the Sports Sub STL YouTube channel, and support the advertisers, guys. It's really easy to do. You can buy some of those amazing cookies from Samonides Suites. Just click the link in the YouTube description to go to samonidessuites.com, order some cookies, and get them delivered to your home. And everyone out there, I cannot emphasize this enough. Do yourself a favor. It takes 5 or 10 minutes. Get a quote from James Carlton with State Farm Insurance. I am highly, highly confident that he'll be able to save you money like he did for me. Again, I have an extra $800 in my pocket this year because I made the switch to James Carlton and State Farm for my home and auto policies. Phone number 314-961-4800, 314-961-4800, or online at carltoninsurance.net. You'll see his info in the YouTube description as well. The three of us will be back on Friday for our normal live show at 12 p.m. So until then, for Kareem Rush, for Shawn Surwillo, for Tito Ulrich, I'm Eric Sontag. This has been Domesticated Gamblers here on Sports Up STL. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you on Friday.
Let's cash some of these bets.